Good morning. Apologize, I had a little bit of trouble with my mic here. My name is Jack Kim. I'm from Samsung SDS. Today, I would like to talk to you about our point of view in what a smart city is and approaches about going about building a smart city. Let's see. What do I need to? Needs to be turned on. That helps. There we go. All right, so there's been many different interpretations of what a smart city is, and everyone's seen as some kind of a depiction of what a smart city can do in various different movies. But what exactly is feasible today versus in some distant future? So I'd like to first discuss examples of different smart cities that are ongoing around the world. And then I'd like to talk about some of the urban challenges that are driving some of the demand for the smarter things. And then we'll briefly review some of the solutions so that you have a feel for what it's like, what it can do. And I will wrap it up with an example of a smart city concept called Samsung Medical Town, and then some of the best practice to get you started. So what is a smart city? First of all, it has to be a livable city. By that, I mean it has to be safe, it has to be convenient, it has to be pleasant, it has to have a low crime rate, accidents, and pollution, and it has to have an efficient and interoperable public transportations. It has to be a pleasant place to live with the state-of-the-art medical facilities, education facilities, and entertainment venues. It also has to be a sustainable city, and that means it has to be environmentally friendly, it has to be cost-friendly, there needs to be a robust urban management system, and it has to be competitive. It needs to be able to attract various different citizens into the place as well as businesses that wants to operate there. So I'm going to very quickly touch on some of the examples of the cities out there. There's an effort called Planet Valley in Portugal, and it's it's a testing ground essentially for a very large number of smart sensors where they're going to embed about 100 million smart sensors throughout the city. There's a city called Konza Techno City in Kenya, which wants to attract IT professional software developers, data centers, and business outsourcing kind of companies. In UAE, there's a city called Masdar City, which is an environmentally friendly city, and it's got a very ambitious goal of achieving a carbon neutral and zero waste. And it's got solar panels everywhere, the wind systems, recycled waters and waste. There's a city called Songdo in Korea. It's been called the most ambitious instant city in the past 50 years. And it's going to be one of the among the greenest cities that we have with efficient transports. And it's going to be a business-friendly city where it wants to attract business from around the world. It's got electric vehicle charging stations everywhere. It's got telepresence type of video conferencing facilities everywhere. It has a garbage transport underneath the ground in a tube that gets transported. It's got replicas of, say, for example, New York Central Park, Paris Boulevards, and Venice canals, for example, for livable considerations. So initially, when people approached this smart city, it started out with the concept of digitalizing everything, utilizing electricity, electronics, internet, and TV as the computing powers and wireless networking became prevalent. As the smart sensors became abundant, it just naturally helped to increase the functionalities and efficiencies. And that it was called the UCity, Ubiquitous City. And then there was another effort that really focused on energy management and environmental side of things. We view that from a Samsung's point of view, all of these are valid concepts, but what we call smart city is something that encompasses all of these concepts. Now, before we delve into the rest of the presentation, I'd like to share with you a video clip, a short one, to show you, to set the frame for the rest of the presentation.
Samsung SDS is creating differentiated smart towns, offering a convergence of IT and town concepts. With fast and safe medical services, creative education, and pleasant cultural space, they can interact and come together to make a town smarter environment. Now, comfortable and enjoyable life unfolds in the smart town. In Smart Medical Town, top-of-the-edge ICT and medical infrastructure are serving you in one great harmony. Hospitals provide digital healthcare with cutting-edge display and electronic chart. You can get access to patient symptoms, prognosis, and treatment history anytime, anywhere with smart devices. You can know how well a patient is doing without a visit to the hospital. Smart Education Town, the most advanced education district in the world. Easy attendance management by identifying students' fingerprint. Students take classes with digital textbooks, and smart devices provide conducive environment to two-way learning. Go to the library and have engaging learning and entertaining experiences delivered by the Smart Table. E-book would be your right reading choice there. Smart Culture Town. City's history and culture itself becomes the city's competitiveness. At Exhibition Area, you can look around displays and feel the vividness that high-tech display delivers for you. No need to stand in a long queue at the theme park. You can make a reservation for your ride at the kiosk and check the waiting time and location on a real time with smart devices. Smart Operations Center controls town's infrastructure organically. Energy consumption is monitored and controlled on a real-time basis. CCTV-based real-time monitoring and intelligent analytics protect people and facilities in town. Smart Operations Center can make agile response to issues with information necessary to operate a town. Samsung SDS takes advantage of solutions in various fields such as medical, education, space convergence, building management, and security to create a smart town environment. Smart Town, one and only town in the world. Samsung SDS's promise to you.
Okay, so what are some of the urban challenges that are driving the demand for these smart solutions? First of all, there's an ever-increasing demand for the natural resources. The global energy consumption is increasing at a rate of about 40% per decade. Global water demand already outpaces the supply that's available today. By 2030, there's going to be a 40% gap between the demand and the supply. The next challenge is that there's an increasing demand for smart infrastructures that enable increased efficiencies to get around the towns and reduce cost and provide reliable safety. Okay. The efficient transportation is a backbone of any city, and then large complex buildings that are efficient to operate and that are cost-friendly is something that is a must as a city grows in scale and complexity. Lastly, it is very important to also have some kind of surveillance or safety mechanisms in place where the city citizens feel very safe living and making their home, and also for the to start doing productive work by inviting a lot of the businesses into the town as well. The next challenge is in managing these complexities. There's a demand for a tool that manages the urban complexity as it grows in scale. And lastly, a city will not be able to attract businesses and citizens on an efficient infrastructure alone. It needs to also provide a very competitive set of services that actually improve the quality of life of the citizens who wants to live there. Okay? And these are traditional businesses in medical services and education, culture, but we need to somehow make them more smarter and more appealing, and something that actually increases their quality of life more than what it is today. Now for the solutions. This is an illustration of the solution stack that we have now. It's not comprehensive by any means because there's a lot of solutions that we have that are not represented here, but I did want to give you an understanding of how these different types of solutions work together to create a smart city. At the bottom is a stack of infrastructures we just talked about, from a transportation, building to surveillance. And right above that is a smart operations center that manages all the complexity between, interdependency between the infrastructure items. Across the top is a set of traditional businesses that, together with some of the enterprise applications, industry-specific applications that we have, that we can help to transform them into the future services. And right below that is a convergence layer, something that we call convergence layer, that'll be powered by a set of services called the digital space convergence. We'll go into that a little bit more detail later, but the bottom two layer consists of what we call a smart infrastructure solution. The top two layer consists of what we call smart life solution. So this is a depiction of what a smart city could look like. It'll consist of a set of infrastructure services highlighted in blue and a set of smart life solutions highlighted in orange. Now you can, depending on what it is that you want your city to represent, to become known as, you can pick and choose which ones that you want to employ here. Okay, so next I want to very briefly go over some of the solutions that we have, just at a very high level, because talking about it at a concept level, it's not really clear as to how these things are achieved. The first is the smart public transportation solution. If I simplify this a great deal, at the highest level, there's really three set of components here. The first is called the smart BIM solution, which stands for Bus Information Management System. And what it does is that it locates the real-time information of where the buses are in transit. So, and that information is sent to the bus stations, and there's a display screen that tells you when exactly the bus is expected to arrive, or it can also be sent to the people on their smartphone. So the arrival time is very accurate. The Smart AFC platform stands for Automatic Fare Collection. It's a metro solution that automates the ticket vending machines to gated access control so people can get in and out of the subway systems very efficiently. But really the secret here is the Fare Clearing Center, which is a cloud-based operation center in the back end. If a person has to go from a point A to point B, and he needs to take multiple modes of transportation, let's say you first take the metro, you get off and you take the bus, and then you get off and you take another taxi to get to the final destination, he can do that with the one single smart card that he has. Now all of that information is processed, integrated, and the fare information is settled in the back end, and monthly that information is sent to various different operators, to the bus operators, the train operators, and taxi operators, and so forth, and also to the citizens, so that information can be settled. With this system, we were able to achieve 94% accuracy in arrival time, and that's roughly about plus or minus 2 minutes. We were able to increase 15% in public transportation usage, and that's based on data from Seoul, which is already very high in usage of the public transportation. And the added bonus here is that you have valuable data at your hand now to do a future transportation policy and planning exercise. Smart building solution consists of 5 solutions. The BMS, Building Management Solution, attempts to automate almost every function within the in the building, including controlling temperatures, to the lightings, to the humidities, to the power output. FMS, Facility Management System, tries to automate the maintenance of all the building equipment. BEMS, a Building Energy Management System, really focuses on the efficiency of the building by having hundreds of thousands of algorithms that automatically detects abnormalities and by remotely controlling multiple buildings at the same time. And then there's a security element to that looks at the that uses CCTV, the parking control systems, and integrated gated system. The trick here is that the systems, all these systems, needs to work seamless, integrated across, managed in concert for the building to be truly smart. But what's wrong with the building today? Why do we need a smarter building? So one has to realize that if you look at the life cycle of a building, the maintenance and operation cost is about 4 times as big as the initial construction cost. And too often times we neglect building in some of this intelligence where you can really do most of the cost saving. In order for us to optimize the cost, we have to go from manually responding to issues that arise to proactively managing real-time information through analytics, and also even predicting what could potentially happen based on patterns. So some of the results that we were able to achieve with such a smart building solution is that a 10% reduction in energy and equipment management costs, about 3 to 5 years increase in lifespan of building equipment, and as silly as it sounds, we found that energy-friendly certification such as LEED leads to increase in their ability to charge rents up to about 4% more. By monitoring the buildings 24 by 365 days, you're able to prevent and minimize accidents that could happen. But when it does occur, the scale of loss from a human and financially is going to be lower. And that also we found that has an effect on reducing the insurance costs as well. Surveillance. It's probably no secret that violent crimes and misdemeanors are on the rise, on the average about 79% annually. But installing hundreds and thousands of CCTV doesn't solve our problem necessarily if it doesn't have some intelligence built into it. First of all, because the operation cost is proportional to the number of TVs, cameras. And we found that without some sort of intelligence, analyzing the information and responding, even detecting when that incident occurs takes a very long time. So on the average, 95% of the incidents go undetected for 22 minutes. And if it's a life-saving, life-critical event, then that's just not acceptable. It's also very difficult because we have massive amounts of information that are coming through. They're all using various different technologies. And once you receive the information, it takes a very long time to analyze what's really going on, who needs to respond to it. And oftentimes it's not just a one party that needs to be notified, but multiple departments to be able to put together an effective response. So our smart surveillance solution protects citizens through, number one, real-time monitoring through CCTVs and various different sensors. Number two, intelligent video analytics employed for detecting abnormalities. For example, if there's all of a sudden a crowd starts forming, a large number of people starts forming a crowd somewhere, something needs to be watched carefully. For example, if there's a suspicious item found in an airport somewhere, it could be a bomb, and you might want to respond to that. If someone is in need of medical assistance, someone falls maybe having a seizure on the ground, and you want to be able to detect those incidents automatically through the intelligent video analytics. And the third piece of this is that you want to have an integrated control and response that automatically assigns a risk level, so you have a priority of where you want to attend to first. You want to respond in various different mechanisms, for example, by broadcasting over the speakers, or restricting access to certain places, or communicating with the various different departments, including fire departments, police departments, and security guards, so on and so forth. With this type of solution, we've seen about 20 to 30% reduction in crime rates, And although some people may have some issues with the privacies and so forth, but overwhelmingly we found that up to about 87% were satisfied with the role of the surveillance playing in providing safety for the city. And also 86% of them agreed on a continuous deployment of these solutions. So I guess 1% of them didn't agree, but part of what makes this possible is also because the intelligent analytics is really able to shorten the search time from 1 hour to 1 minute, and that's an easy 60 times of gain in efficiency. So all the solutions I talked about so far has one thing in common, and they all have an operations center in the back end. The key to making things smart is not just collecting real-time data, but analyzing and responding in an intelligent and integrated manner. As I discussed briefly, you may want to alert the local government, emergency departments. You want to alert the citizens who are being affected by it. You want to alert the maintenance crews and perhaps even industry operators who have a stake in this. These information could be delivered real time through broadcasting over speakers. It could be PCs or smartphones. Okay, so I want to pause here a little bit and switch gear to talk about digital space convergence service. So until relatively recently, mankind has utilized physical space in largely a functional manner to build a home, put a roof over their head, to keep out of the rain. As cities started to form, buildings where many people could congregate and work in a single place has emerged, and over time, productivity and efficiency became a concern. From a design perspective, in the advent of industrial revolution, the design initially focused mostly on designing things, functional things for the masses. And then over time, after the digital revolution, ability to provide a user-specific experience became possible. From an IT perspective, Web 1.0 focused largely on information consumptions off the web, but Web 2.0 allowed us to personalize services and deliver them seamlessly across multiple devices. So what DSC does is it's a service that we provide to help you create a user experience focused interaction between a user and the physical space. Now, I know all of this sounds pretty very vague, and so rather than me trying to explain this concept, let me show you a short video clip of how we transformed an ordinary university library into something that's befitting of a 21st century and new millennium. Keep in mind, the project was done in 2008, so that was 5 years ago, and in technology world, 5 years is a long time. But everything that you see here, including the interior designs, the furniture, was done by our team.
Samsung SDS recreates a library as digitalized space for cultural and learning experience by closely integrating IT, space, and design. We provide real-time information on books and library by connecting the library system with user's personal device. We also offer social network service to provide the latest news, images, and recommendations on books. Our Our human-centered design makes a library a place that you always want to stay for longer. We create a ubiquitous space that maximizes communication and collaboration opportunities. You can share information with a simple touch on the screen in the paperless meeting room. Features like real-time discussion and interactive e-chalkboard will help you learn more efficiently. DSC adds artistic sentimentality to exhibitions to give you a more delightful experience. We provide differentiated service of offering information on the spot without printed leaflet or brochure. You don't have to carry around devices like PDA. All you have to do is just listen to the explanations coming from our highly directional speakers. You can also access various text and video clips concerning the exhibits and gain more information than from any other exhibition you ever visited. You can even control the exhibits yourself with the help of our immersive interface technology. Your experience with the exhibits will become richer and more intimate. The special experience of communicating with space will give you a lasting memory of the digital exhibition. Samsung SDS DSC has a wide array of offerings that will enrich your life. Digital service with maximum utility. The value of communication, experience, and collaboration. User-centered space design based on movement and color analysis. Integrated system for effective management. Space that continues to create values. And space with your precious memories. Hands-on experience of knowledge and culture. Convergence between digital service and space. You can enjoy all of them if you are with DSC.
Great. Okay, so let me take you through one example of a smart city concept called the Smart Medical Town. First of all, we have a set of enterprise applications that help to digitalize everything in the hospital. So we have a system called HIS, a Hospital Information System, that helps the hospital become paperless. We have a system called EMR, Electronic Medical Record, which helps to make it become chartless. And PACS, Picture Archiving Communication System, that helps it become filmless. And also we have mobile hospital solutions that help reduce and make it weightless. Okay, so that's the backbone of our medical services. But let's take a look at a scenario of a patient arriving at a hospital for an appointment. So first of all, the day before the appointment, he receives an automated a text message reminding of the appointment the next day. On the day of the appointment, as he approaches the perimeter of a Smart Medical Town, where a license plate recognition system recognizes the registered car and the driver, and as he drives into the complex, and guides him to the parking lot nearest to the facility where he will be treated. Now, the patient will also receive a text message before he enters the building with the appointment details, expected wait time, and a floor map so he knows exactly where he's supposed to go. But let's say you're not a registered patient, and so when he enters the lobby, then he can register at a kiosk without waiting to be seen by a receptionist. But regardless, when a patient will be given an RFID bracelet, which communicates with the various different devices that are located throughout the hospital, Working in concert with RFID bracelet, a kiosk can help you navigate where to go based on your appointment system. And if there is a minimum wait time, then he can use that time to look at various different media walls to look at the hospital information or doctor informations. Or he can look at the expected medical treatment that he's expected to receive based on the symptoms on a tablet as he's waiting. So he's more informed before he enters the office. When a patient enters the doctor's office, his information, including the past history, will be automatically displayed on a wall, on a media wall. We have also a system called Clinical Diagnosis Support System, which will allow doctors to make a more accurate diagnosis. And once the doctor is done, he could log all of that information into, and the treatment information into electronic medical record system. If a surgery is required before he enters the room, all the information regarding CT, MRIs, and all that is stored in the EMR system is displayed on a large screen for the surgeons. And this system operates based on a motion sensor, so they can be retrieved, manipulated without touching the screen for obvious sanitary reasons. For robotic surgeries, a pre-surgery mock simulation can be performed prior to the surgery. Once the patient is moved into the patient room, there will be many doctors and nurses that will be cycling in and out of the room, all performing different functions and providing different medications and different dosage amounts and so forth. As they're wearing an RFID tag, when a nurse enters a room, exactly what that person is supposed to do, what kind of medications to give, and how much to give information is already available on a screen when they enter. The televisit system in the room allows the patients to communicate with the distant families and friends at the distant places. And also doctors and nurses can explain the surgery procedures or results of treatment charts using tablet PCs. In-hospital pharmacy automatically receives patients' prescription information from the system. So there's no handwriting, carrying it over to the pharmacy, not being able to read, and so forth. And all the system is done automatically using a robotic system. So there's a system called the automatic tablet dispensing package system and automatic packaging and cutting winding system, which is all automated by the robots. All that can also be delivered to patient rooms automatically through conveyor belts. Now, if it's a big hospital complex, there's going to be a learning facility where interns and residents can attend a live interactive lectures and where they can also observe operations in a real time to be able to learn. And R&D quality is also going to be improved through collaborations with medical researchers in home and abroad. Throughout the hospital, the patient locations are monitored by CCTVs and for swift emergency responses should anything happen to the patient. And as before, media portals are located throughout the hospital, so it shows you where you go based on RFID. And lastly, the entire medical town system can be controlled in a centralized and efficient way from a smart operations center. The information sharing is made easy. Exchanges between other hospitals outside is made also easy through this operations center. Okay. So before we wrap up, this is one of many concepts that we have that we are currently developing with our clients across the world. But before we wrap up, let me leave you with the 3 key best practices when considering building your own smart city and smart town. First is that it is important to organize a dedicated steering committee with the budget authority and also include experts in laws and policies to guide the team. You need to provide clear KPIs, key performance indicators, as well as incentive for the participants. It is also critical to develop a clear smart city concept and align that with the strategy. And it is equally critical to build the right partner of ecosystem to share the vast amount of experience and technologies. As I said before, integrated management system is a must for fundamentally solving urbanization issues. Just to drive home the point one more time, in our experience, having a clear strategies that are aligned with a vision makes all the difference in whether the initiative is a success or a failure. There are many different smart city concepts out there, and one has to identify a clearly differentiated set of strengths that will help make your city stand apart and competitive against other smart cities that will be popping up. When considering, there are many different expertise you'll need to consult with to execute your unique vision of the smart city. And you need to consider not only best of breed approach perhaps, but ability for all these vendors to work together in a seamless way. So as an example, I represent, in the Samsung group, there's a family of about 30 companies, and I represent Samsung SDS, which is the leader in ICT solution. But we also have the construction company, engineering company. We have our own hospitals, our own amusement parks, for example. We have a company called TechWin that builds sophisticated CCTVs. And of course, there's Samsung Electronics that you guys are all very familiar with. And we even have an asset management company for financing. All right, this is where my presentation ends. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak. And if you have any questions, please visit our website or email me. Thank you again.